I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network. Donald Trump accomplished a very rare feat this past week. That is, he lost three major rulings in the same week, two from different federal judges in the state of New York, and one major loss from the Supreme Court of Georgia. Donald Trump, a supreme loser in court this past week, loss after loss after loss. And the way that he lost and the findings by these judges are so powerful that in any normal time, this would be the most disqualifying stuff out there. It should be the most disqualifying stuff out there. And for people like you who have standards, it absolutely is, but not for the modern day Republican Party. So let's go through right now these three devastating rulings against Donald Trump. First, let's talk about a ruling out of the Federal District Court for the Southern District of New York in a case related to the Manhattan District Attorney's criminal case against Donald Trump for 34 separate felony counts for falsification of business records. Of course, this case relates to Donald Trump making unlawful hush money payments to Stormy Daniels that he classified as legal reimbursement when they were hush money payments. Donald Trump tried to get that case that was filed by the Manhattan District Attorney in state court removed to federal court. Donald Trump alleged that there were federal rights of his that were being violated because he said the conduct that he engaged in when he wrote these checks to reimburse Michael Cohen for hush money payments occurred while he was in office. And therefore, Donald Trump says that's within the kind of course and scope of his role of being when he was the president. That was for the benefit of the country, those hush money payments. And here is what the judge ultimately ruled. Judge Alvin Hellerstein, federal judge for the Southern District of New York. I hold that Trump has failed to meet his burden of showing that the prosecution filed by the people in the New York Supreme Court is for or relates to acts taken under color of federal office. Because Trump was not acting, quote, within the scope of his authority, nor has he been charged for an alleged offense warranted by his federal authority, there is little or no risk that a state might arrest the operations of the federal government. And here as well, the judge explains that there was substantial evidence put on by the Manhattan District Attorney that Trump engaged in the criminal conduct that they are alleging. And here is what the court states. The people, the Manhattan District Attorney, put forth evidence strongly supporting their allegations that the money paid to Michael Cohen was reimbursement for a hush money payment. Exhibit 8, introduced without objection, shows a handwritten notation by someone in the Trump organization, likely the CFO, calculating how much Cohen was to be repaid for advancing the $130,000 payment to Stephanie Clifford, that's the adult actress Stormy Daniels, and how the payment to him was to be disguised as income rather than reimbursement. That's the crime that Donald Trump is being charged with, and here the federal judge says there's substantial evidence. The people have put forth evidence strongly supporting their allegations that Trump made hush money payments. Just think about that. Before I even read to you the next two major decisions that Donald Trump lost on, a federal judge in a case that Donald Trump removed to try to bring this case to federal court said that there's substantial evidence that Donald Trump made hush money payments. And the Republicans are like, yeah, let's give that guy the nuclear codes. That's one federal judge's decision rejecting Donald Trump's attempt to have the case removed to federal court. That case remanded back to state court. A big loss for Donald Trump. Loss number two comes in federal court in New York as well from a different judge. First judge, Judge Alvin Hellerstein, now Judge Lewis Kaplan. And Judge Lewis Kaplan presided over the E. Jean Carroll trial where Donald Trump lost that case, was found to have engaged in sexual assault and defamation in order to pay $5 million. Donald Trump sought a new trial and claimed that The jury basically said that Donald Trump won. That's what Donald Trump basically argued in his motion for new trial against the jury verdict award, and Judge Lewis Kaplan denied Donald Trump's motion for a new trial. This is a very powerful order. So just remember, the first order, Judge Alvin Hellerstein, substantial evidence Donald Trump made hush money payments. Now, federal Judge Lewis Kaplan saying the following: the jury in the E. Jean Carroll federal trial did not award Miss Carroll more than $2 million for groping her breasts through her clothing, wrongful as that might have been. There was no evidence at all of such behavior. Instead, the proof convincingly established, and the jury implicitly found, that Mr. Trump deliberately and forcibly penetrated Miss Carroll with his fingers, causing immediate pain and long-lasting psychological harm. Mr. Trump's argument therefore ignores the bulk of evidence at trial and misinterprets the jury verdict. Just think about that as a federal judge's order. You've seen back-to-back federal judge's orders showing how disgusting, how despicable Donald Trump is. Then we go to the Georgia Supreme Court. There, Donald Trump is trying to disqualify Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, trying to disqualify the judge presiding over the special purpose grand jury, Judge Robert McBurney. Donald Trump's trying to quash or basically destroy all of the evidence shown to the special purpose grand jury. There's no basis in law for this request, but there, the entire Georgia Supreme Court, all justices unanimously agreed that this petition filed by Donald Trump, this original jurisdiction petition where Donald Trump filed directly to the Georgia Supreme Court, is denied. But the court didn't just stop there. You see, the Georgia Supreme Court didn't just rule on jurisdictional grounds that Donald Trump's petition was frivolous. They found that on the merits, Donald Trump's petition was frivolous as well. And the Supreme Court said, moreover, even if the petition were procedurally appropriate, which it was not, petitioner has not showed that he would be entitled to the relief he seeks. They cite some cases under Georgia law and basically explain that Donald Trump is citing the wrong law, the wrong cases, and this doesn't apply to the facts at issue here. And this petition by Donald Trump was denied by the entire Georgia Supreme Court. Loss, loss, loss. And by the way, I didn't even mention that this past week, Donald Trump's the SPAC, Special Purpose Acquisition Company, associated with Truth Social and Trump Media, they entered into a stipulated consent decree settlement with the SEC. We previously reported that there was a settlement in principle. A filing was now issued basically saying that there were fraudulent communications between Digital World Acquisition Company and Trump Media before they were lawfully allowed to have conversations and communications, and there was an $18 million penalty there. Also, Judge Eileen Cannon set the trial date for special counsel Jack Smith's criminal case against Donald Trump this past week for Donald Trump's theft of these national defense information and classified records, along with his co-defendant Walt T. Nauta. That trial is now set for May of 2024. So for those keeping track, Donald Trump's got a case filed against him by Manhattan Attorney General Letitia James in October, a civil case where she's seeking over $250 million in damages against Trump, the Trump Organization, and all of his adult children other than Ivanka. She's not in the case anymore. Trump's got another E. Jean Carroll defamation trial in January of 2024. Also a class action brought against Donald Trump and the Trump Organization in January of 2024. In March, the Manhattan District Attorney case against Donald Trump for the hush money payments goes to trial. And then in May of 2024, another trial, that one brought by special counsel Jack Smith. So a lot going on. Loss, 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 loss. Donald Trump a big legal loser this past week. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 1.5 million subscribers thanks to your support. Check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Wherever you get audio podcasts, subscribe to the MeidasTouch podcast and have an excellent day. Hit subscribe. It's free.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.